Yeah, so it was exciting. I judged the Design Bites panel, which it's a fun KBIS initiative with the NKBTA, and they kind of pick a bunch of up and coming and established like vendors, and it's just like Shark Tank. They come on, they get 2 minutes
No
to pick.
way.
Yeah, myself and two other designers actually were the judges this year. So they have 2 minutes to pitch their product. It could be a new launch, it could be a collection, it could be something that's more decorative, something like brand new technology. It kind of runs the gamut. And it's very much like Shark Tank. They're with their cue cards and they have a presentation behind them. And there's just so much energy. And there's like that little bit of like frenetic energy too, because the clock is counting down and they're trying to get their pitch across. It was really fun. All of the companies had such great things. We actually awarded the brand with the biggest bite to a toilet.
Oh my gosh. Okay, do tell.
But it's kind of a groundbreaking toilet. It has like overflow controls built into it. You never have to worry about like an overflowing toilet and like what that could do to your tile, all the other things that you spend so much in your bathroom for and want to keep it looking its best. So, again, not the sexiest, but the presenter had such a good sense of humor about it. And I think that goes a long way. And it did really feel like something that the judges and I hadn't seen before. So I think that's sort of why it took the cake. But we were all saying there needs to be like an aesthetic award too. Like they do a audience pick and then they do whatever they think is just the best. Like we pick it as the judges, what's the best. But I think that they should separate into like technology versus like an aesthetic winner too, because good design it comes in a lot of different packages. And sometimes you just want to talk about a beautiful object too.
My sister absolutely abhors it.
She's not feeling it.
She said, "Anita, I have to say," she's all serious. She's like, "I just,
She's like, I saw your wallpaper.
yeah." She's like,
You could hear it in her voice.
"I really think it's wrong. It's a mistake." And it threw me into a little of a tailspin like, "Oh my god," like it made me self-doubt a little bit, but every
Yeah.
morning when I come downstairs, Danielle, I am so happy. So, I want your opinion later.
Yes and no. I feel like I didn't have the most linear path, but I didn't have like a different career. I just kind of found myself like to design and it took a little bit of time. And I've covered the home more broadly, I think, for my whole career. But if we really want to take it back and, how did I sort of get into this line of work to begin with? I always loved art. I always loved art class. I liked writing. I kind of knew that
Mm.
I wanted to do something related to that, but I don't think I really knew that being a design writer was a thing. I just knew I sort of liked different aspects of design and art, making things and crafting and all that kind of stuff. The bug bit me early and it makes sense that I ended up here, but it was sort of showing itself early. I should have thought. And it's kind of cliche at this point. And I'm curious if this describes you too, because obviously I know you've worked in a completely different discipline. Yeah, exactly. But as a kid, I don't know. I feel like a lot of designers are like this, and I was like this. I was obsessed with like rearranging my room and like redoing things and like what's the new paint. And I used to go with my mother to, the upholsterer. We were doing dining room chairs. Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm an old soul. I'm like, yeah, mom, I love this like white on white stripe. Let's go for it. We redid the dining room. She wanted the whole dining room to like be different. And I don't know why we chose white because it's probably not the best color for a dining room, but we also, I mean, I think I also grew up, it was instilled to me to like kind of take care of my things. I know this is mostly an audio podcast, but you can probably see these green chairs behind me right there. Those are Henredon chairs from 1978 that my parents got when they first got
Wow.
married. And like they're just in such great condition because just always like kind of instilled in me to like, buy quality, take care, obviously get some budget finds in there too, which I love doing. But I remember being little and going and getting the big wallpaper books. Like it used to not be the little samples, like it would be those.
Oh, they were like big 3-ring binders.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, like a workout, just like bringing them home. She would go to the like hardware store, the different like showrooms and get those and bring them home. And I think I used to go to the Home Depot with my dad and get like the paint chips, but they used to be on wood. Like, I don't know, I guess I was like collecting all these things. I've always been into collecting too. And probably should have known that design was maybe an option, but it just didn't really like click. I graduated from Columbia, got an internship at Time Inc., and then I ended up at This Old House magazine. and that
Oh,
sort of is where the
wow.
bug bit, and again, I keep saying that where the bug bit, but yeah, the design bug. I just loved everything decorative there. I gravitated towards the columns that they did that, had to do with shopping for your home for like hardware, lights. We did everything. We did mailboxes, we did switch plates, like all the kind of like tactile points in a house or hardware-esque type finishes, both probably magazine and sort of crash course in decorating and definitely like vintage design too. I owe so much to so many of the editors there. And that's where I first got my start. And then I went on to kind of work more in like women's lifestyle and eventually at Rachel Ray Food Magazine. But I did all of the not food
Oh.
stuff, which was fun, a little bit more
Mhm.
variety there. But when I got the chance to come to apartment therapy, that's where I think things have really crystallized for me in the past like 4.5 years. I was writing for the site before, really enjoyed it, but had moved more towards food. And when a position opened up and I luckily got it, it just was like, this is perfect. This is like the stuff that I've been enjoying covering the most, but has been a little more secondary because I was doing sort of everything more from like the kitchen lens.
What's the most fun part of your job as a editorial director that gets you out of bed every day, that makes you excited?
Gosh, so many things. I think, at the end of the day, we're like all about service. At Apartment Therapy, we want to provide solutions and tips for readers that make homes happier, healthier, just like your place, the place that you want to be, your refuge, that kind of thing. So it's a little bit of everything. It's wanting to inspire people, it's being inspired by people and wanting to sort of share their stories and put them up on, not a pedestal, but like a platform, give them a platform, give people a resource for sharing ideas both ways. I think some of our audience and readers are the smartest people when it comes to decorating. While I love the designer pieces and, pieces led by expert advice, I think it totally goes both ways. We see so much in our house tours that's just so smart. And even with our staff, everybody's really like genuinely passionate about the home and everyone has such great ideas, which is just really inspiring and uplifting and makes it fun to come to work every day. But yeah, and I think really like honestly, just the idea that design can be very intimidating, it can be very unwelcoming, it can feel very exclusionary at times, I think too. And I think
Mhm.
what we're all about at apartment therapy is like, let's not be so serious about it. Like, let's make it fun. Let's figure out what works for us. Let's not judge others. Let's all like, there's a place for everyone to have whatever they want in their homes and what speaks to them.
Tell me more about your house. Like, where are you at now with that? And what kind of home therapy moments are you trying to intentionally add in?
Oh my gosh, I think I need you. I need some help.
I am here for you.
Yeah, you're here. I have you on speed dial, which is great.
Yes.
I feel a little bit like the shoemakers kids that have no shoes. Like I love design so much and I feel like I have such a gut instinct and I'm so decisive when it comes to like this is a trend, spotting a trend. This is what we should do. This is what we should cover. But then when it comes to my own house, like I do feel like a little debilitated by all of the choices. And I'm trying. I'm trying to like if you don't like it, it's fine. You can change it, but you don't want to be wasteful and budget is always a concern too. So, oh man, do you have time? The laundry list of projects is quite long. You got a couple hours.
Sexy things that you have to put your budget towards, like updating your electric panel. That's one thing I have to do, and we've just been putting off, but it's several thousands of dollars, yet very necessary.
I know. I was just telling someone the other day that like we need to get a couch doctor in here, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but in New York, they're such a big thing. A lot of times the openings of doors, and my house is a 1928 kind of neo-colonial, like has a little bit of like bungalow elements. There's some craftsman-y type stained glass, and we have some built-ins. So it's kind of a little bit of a hybrid of
Mhm.
a house. So trying to go a little bit like vintage meets modern with it, which I love because that's kind of my style anyway. But I say all this to say that my door openings are small. So we're having trouble getting the sofa that we want to put on our third floor. We have like a little, it's kind of like a finished attic up there and wanted to kind of turn it into like a little bit of a lounge space. It has to be sawed. That's what the couch doctors do. They will cut a couch in half and then they have to take the fabric off and then they put the fabric back on. So
Wait, wait, wait. They cut the couch in half.
yeah, they cut the frame.
But okay, oh my god, my mind is blown. So when they put it back together, is it seamless? Is it
You don't know. You literally don't know. I mean, I think there are certain fabrics that it's probably trickier. Luckily, this is just a regular upholstered kind of probably a cotton blend, kind of a darker blue. It's pretty sofa. So I don't think that the fabric is going to be that tricky, but I'm sure leathers and different patterns are probably tricky. But these folks are true craftsmen. They are like wizards, magicians, but it costs a lot of money. And I've just been like putting it off and my husband is like, "We need a place to sit up there." You know, like, "Get it together." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, like do I really wanna pay someone to like."
Cut your couch in half? How would you prioritize it? Are there any advice, tips, or tricks on prioritizing budget and aesthetics? Because that's what I do. Every time I meet a client, the tough conversation is you can send me all the great inspo, all the great Pinterest, but
Right.
what's your budget? And then from there, it's like, how do we prioritize pretty and the practical? I'm so curious with your myriad of experience, what would your advice to be us to be about prioritizing?
What I'm gonna say is probably similar to what maybe you say or what a lot of designers say. I think you really do wanna put your dollars towards the pieces that you're using, like, day in and day out. A nice quality sofa, buy the best that you can afford because 'cause you're going to be sitting on that, you're gonna have people over, you'll be entertaining on it. Something like I went with a leather sofa from Article. I love it, but it's nice because it also patinas over time, and I'm okay with that look, like, as long as you know that the lived in is what it's gonna kinda get, it'll only get better with age if you're, like, okay with that. And then I also think lighting. I think lighting is one of the first things that you should do, and it actually is one of the things that we've done in most every room is switched out the lighting. Not only should you think about the bulbs and, what kinda light you work best in and pick sort of a bulb that's gonna do that, whether it's daylight or if you like warm light, or maybe you can get something that's adjustable because certainly now there's plenty of affordable LEDs on the market where you can do that. But a tip with lighting, you really shouldn't have different bulbs in different rooms. It should be the same thing throughout the house. So that's a place that, again, isn't the sexiest place to spend. You want to spend on the beautiful fixture too, which I think is worth it, but also just going through and replacing all of your light bulbs and getting like a color temperature consistency from room to room because that's going to make your whole space feel so much more cohesive. And if you can't do it all at once, you could do it room by room, floor by floor, and just kind of work through it. So I think definitely like the anchor furniture and the lighting is where to spend and then save, all the accessories, all the fun stuff. You can find such good artwork, pottery, all different types of decorative books at thrift stores, flea markets, places like Goodwill. We have Housing Works in New York. That's, another resource. Just any kind of local place. Even garage sales were sort of warming up a little bit here, though today has been kind of cold in the Northeast, but I'm excited for like yard and garage sales to kind of like happen and stoop sales.
Divisive topic. I made an unpopular opinion video content recently about how much I love putting in recessed lighting for clients.
Oh my gosh, you're a recess lighting girly? Okay.
Sometimes you just need uniformed in a especially a multifunctional room, and maybe because I have kids and things and there's different people doing different things in one room, we need like a overall lighting that is conducive to tasks. A lot of my clients don't realize that, but then it's 99, no, I think it's 100%. Their reaction is, "Why didn't we do this sooner?"
I think it's one of those things that you don't know how good it can be until you have it, and it's gonna be costly if you don't already have, like, cans in your home, but I think depending on how you wanna use a room, it could be a very good source of budget or sort of a place to channel your dollars, or to put your dollars into, I guess. I don't have any in this house because it is more of, like, a historic home, but I'm also not as anti big light, and I think that that's kinda where that comes in, like, the big lights, the recessed lights, like, people just
Yes.
don't like overheads in general. I think they're just using the wrong bulbs, because put this on a dimmer, I have a mid-century-esque looking, chandelier pendant-y type situation over my left shoulder for those of you who are not viewing this, on video, and I like to put it on a lot. I think it's just like, get a dimmer, get a bulb that can kinda go in between super bright blaring and, off, right? Like, you're just using the wrong bulbs. There is a time and a place for the overhead light.
I agree. Because another thing about having a whole bunch of small or medium lighting, unless it's very intentional, it starts looking really cluttered.
Yeah, too many floor lamps, too many table lamps.
There's a design to it that will make it look cohesive in the room, or it just looks like I know you've seen this before where there's floor lamp and a desk lamp all in a corner for somebody's desk, and then the rest of the room is dark. Like, it's very uneven. How does that now that you've gone from a home that had minimal lighting and now, I mean, I could see it in the back of your screen, it's or your home, it
Right.
definitely yeah, it's there's way more light. How has that just impacted your overall being? I'm so curious. If you can describe it in feelings or experiences, how's that changed your living?
Yeah, no, I think it really, like, energizes you. It does. There's something about seeing the sun, I think, coming in the windows that just sort of perks you up a little bit, and I think it keeps me going during the day because we do work from home a little bit too now. I mean, I know a lot of people do post-pandemic, some obviously maybe never were able to because just the industry doesn't allow that, but for those of us who can kind of fit that into our work days, it's great to have the nice natural light because that kinda keeps me going. It's the mid-afternoon slump, right? Like, but if I see some pretty sunlight coming through the window, then I'm like, "Let me write one more story."
It makes for me, I struggle with seasonal affect disorder, so
Yeah,
it makes a huge difference. Growing up in Seattle
yeah. Oh, yeah.
was such a struggle, but now in Southern California, I can get by a little longer. Any advice for people who are still a little bit cautious about color? Obviously, we wouldn't recommend just color drenching right away. But if they do want to color drench like me, are there any caveats? Is
Yeah.
does sizing of the room matter? What is your take?
I think if you're sort of trying to dabble or like dip your toe into color, maybe color drenching isn't the right thing for you, but I do think it could be done in a powder room. I was actually just having a discussion with one of my coworkers earlier today who wants to paint her bathroom black and her friends were like, "Absolutely not." And I was like, "One, you should do it because like you have white tile, so it's going to balance it out just like perfectly. Also, they can come visit, but they don't have to live in this bathroom. This is your bathroom. You do it the way you want to do it." But I was like, but I would suggest doing black for the ceiling too, like to make it really enveloping. And I think that that's what you can do. She won't be color drenching because she's going to have other colors kind of at work with the tile. And I think she
Mhm.
wants to accent with like a light pink, which is not to say that you can't accent with color drenching, but I think it's got to be like full walls. But I would say do it the way that you've sort of described, right? Choose something that's sort of a neutral. Maybe you do it with a lovely, like taupish color. Like you can still color drench with neutrals, right? Take the paint color that's on your walls or on your trim and then, take it down a step or take it up a step in saturation and go a little bit
Mhm.
darker if you want or a little bit lighter. I think sometimes a little bit darker on the ceiling will create more of a cocoon or like cozy effect. But if you want to open things up a little bit, if you took the same color on your walls and trim, if you were matching everything and then, you know, cut the saturation by like a couple percentages and they can do that, at the paint store. It sounds hard in the abstract when you're talking about it, but they know exactly. They just take the formula like a little bit lighter and then you get just such a nice, soft, subtle contrast because it's just a little bit different than the walls. I love those like little differences, like the things that you kind of like notice when your eye really gets to rest on something and kind of like take it all in. And then you're like, I thought it was all the same color, but in fact, it's not. Like, I love those little like surprise moments.
What is your favorite go-to? It could be really something wacky, eccentric. It doesn't have to be super formal, but what is just your ultimate relaxation mode at home?
Gosh, I'm kind of boring about the way that I relax, but I don't think there's a boring way to relax. I think like I love reading books. I like to do it sometimes in my bathtub. It just depends. I love a good bath. I am a bath girly.
Okay, good. I am too.
Into the spa vibes. I know some people just like they're very baths can be very polarizing, and I know
And isn't it surprising, like, for us who love baths, isn't it surprising? Like, I'm always surprised. I never think of it as bathing in dirty water, but they do.
me either, but I guess if they really need to get over that fear, they can just shower first, take a quick rinse, and then try the bath. I think that they haven't tried it or they haven't given it a shot. I do like to read. I like to take baths. I sometimes like to combine the two. So when we're putting together our bathroom upstairs, like our sort of primary bath upstairs, well, it's in the hall, so it's kind of the everything bath upstairs because again, it's an old house. I don't think suites really existed, but or en suites really existed back when it was built. There's like a little area where there's like a built-in, and I really want to turn it into a bookshelf. Find a way to make that work because I feel like they are things that you don't think would work together very well because you don't want your books getting wet or humidity, that kind of thing. But I'm gonna try to make it work.
I want to just give you a sneak peek right now of the kitchen. Now it's messy. So I'm going to be this talk about relatable, but I wanted to show you because you know what it looks like. I'm just going to flip my
Oh, I think it's cute. Oh, you did on the range hood too.
yes
Oh, and your what's it
fridge
called? Your fridge, yeah.
and
Oh,
the
wow. You're
and
pattern drenching. Is that a thing yet?
um it now it is.
We're coining it.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
calling it
Danielle Anita has started a new trend. It's pattern drenching.
that's fun. I love the pattern. It's, like, dark in the back. Like, what is it, like, navy?
Dark navy,
Yep.
and the reason why I love it is because it has orange and lemon citrus patterns, and outside, my New York friends are so jealous because 'cause they're always like, "Oh, Anita, of course you have orange and lemon trees right outside your backyard."
I love that, though. Well, that's, like, a very, biophilic, like, bringing the outdoors in too with the pattern.